treat from an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant. From gourmet gift boxes at Nicolette's Macarons to timeless comfort food and seasonal bakery favorites at Cafe Latte, Eat Local Minnesota connects you with high-quality local food for every festive occasion. More details at eatlocalminnesota.com. Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker, in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds. And no matter where you live, from P-Town to Dallas to North Dakota to Monterey Bay, we've got you here at The Gailey Show. All right, what is on the show today? The Oklahoma Supreme Court, in a good decision for religious liberty, just struck down new school curriculum that was going to be in the schools that was very, shall we say, Christian nationalist in perspective. So we're going to look at that ruling, but that's not stopping the University of Oklahoma. They just gave their psychology students the green light to call transgender patients demonic who severely harm American youth. Way to go, University of Oklahoma. We'll dive into that story. The economy just posted some surprising growth that people weren't expecting, but consumer confidence fell. So we're going to take a look at those numbers. And let's close out the year with some good election news. We know we've had a lot of it this year for our side of the aisle, Democrats and progressives. But Bolt's magazine has just put out a look back at the state legislatures, those races that were on the ballot in 2025. And an interesting percent were flipped from Republican to Democrats. We'll look at that story as well later in the hour. But up first, I saw this story this morning. I'm like, okay, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about this. So because there's been so few things that have come out from the Epstein file Transparency Act that Congress unanimously, essentially, with the exception of like one vote, passed earlier this or late November, early December. And now we've gotten something that's really shocking. It is a letter that Epstein wrote to Larry Nassar. And Larry Nassar is the gymnastics coach who was he was a team doctor for U.S. Gymnastics. And he basically molested and abused hundreds of girls under his care over a long period of time. And so we have now gotten this letter. And I want to say that this letter was known. Okay, so it was known, it was reported on. We didn't know what the full contents, though, were of the letter. And so now we have it. And this is what Jeff Epstein wrote to Larry Nassar. As you will know by now, I have taken the short route home. Good luck. We shared one thing, our love and caring for young ladies and the hope they reach their full potential. He goes on to say in this letter to Nassar, Epstein writes, our president also shares our love of young nubile girls. When a young beauty walked by, he loved to grab blank. Can't say that on the air. Whereas we ended up snatching grub in the mess halls of the system. Life is unfair. Yours, J. Epstein. That's kind of gross. Jim, your reaction?
Anytime I see something like that, I want to believe it, and I think it's okay to have a little skepticism because it seems so blatant. But the fact that that document was put up on the DOJ site, removed from the DOJ site, put up on the DOJ site, removed from the DOJ site, now put back up on the DOJ site, I think, I think we've gone through 5 permutations of this,
It was hard to keep track.
tells me that somebody wants it to be up there. And I'm imagining a good person in the Department of Justice, because I think there are a couple of them left. And then I can see the bad people not wanting to be up. So that back and forth to me sort of confirms that this is a legitimate thing. Otherwise, it would show up once and go and you'd never see it again. So I feel like somebody is telling us inside the DOJ, hey, there's goods on this. We know there's enough information here to do what everyone that I think questions this president up one side and down the other. There's evidence.
Well, acting as his personal attorney, DOJ did put out a statement saying that none of this was factual and blah, 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 all that denial stuff. I will say, though, just to kind of the letters, because I found this in the story here, the letters' existence was reported on in 2023. But the letter was apparently sent from Epstein to Nasser after Epstein died, but it didn't get to Nasser and actually was returned back to the jail. And an investigator apparently noted at the time in an email, this is Guardian reporting on this, quote, the investigator wrote, it appeared he mailed it out and it was returned to him. I am not sure if I should just open it or if we should hand it over to anyone. And now we know the full contents of the letter, and you can actually, there are copies of it. You can see that he has written there. What I'm not seeing in the reporting is what exactly is his relationship to Larry Nasser? Like, why was this the guy that he was writing to right before he was apparently going to take his own life?
I think the dishonest DOJ is saying this isn't, they're not saying it's false. They're saying it's not proven, but it wouldn't be proven until you have a trial and had handwriting experts look at it. And, you do have to prove the veracity of the document, but for them to say it's unproven just means it hasn't been part of the trial. It's kind of a false claim, right? It's a disingenuous claim to try and make it sound like this is false, but they really aren't saying that. If you look at the language, they're not saying it's false. They don't know if it's false or not.
I mean, some people would also say that, is this manufactured? Because if you believe he was murdered,
right,
then to your point, there would have to be handwriting analysis.
Right.
But this suggests that he knew that he was going to take the short route home, in his own words.
I think it's 50-50 likely to be accurate, and I think it's 50-50 likely that somebody took his life. I think all of that is 50. I don't know how anybody can argue that it's not 50-50. That's why you have to have a trial. That's why all the guilty parties need to be,
trial.
But well, I mean, I don't know how else you get.
Do we still have trials in the United States?
I don't know how you get to some sense of confidence. It could be a forgery. It could be an absolute fact. And I don't know how to. I'm not able to determine that, and neither is anybody else, including the DOJ, unless they've got, unless they're willing to do a trial. That's the only way we're going to get to the answer. And I think they're obfuscating it for a reason. I think Pam Bondi should have been gone a long time ago. And frankly, a lot of Republicans should be calling for her ouster, because she's making this fool look like a bigger fool. So she's not doing ding dong any favors. So I don't know why somebody
isn't. Well, the reason why he's there and his personal lawyer is there as well was his personal lawyer is now the second most powerful person in the Department of Justice, Todd Blanche. Right. And so this whole thing is just functioning as his personal lawyers right now. So, they're in this. We're in this weird situation where these files have to come out, and if this is what we're already, I mean, if he is writing about Trump. If this is completely 100% accurate and he is writing about Trump days before he takes his own life, what else is in there?
Right. Well, this is a cover. I mean, think of the cover up that Nixon did and how sort of circuitous and all that was. This is a bald-faced. This is a cover up that probably involves hundreds of people in the federal government that should be sitting in, prison. I mean, this is going to take a long time to unravel. There's a lot of people now that are committing crimes every day. And not
Are you
2 or
talking about
3
related
people.
to Epstein, or you're just talking in general?
Well,
the Trump
related to
administration?
Epstein, yes, I think Epstein particularly, but the fact that the whole DOJ is operating in an illegal fashion on a wide scale, and yes, you put things like killing people in the ocean and all. I mean, the and we use the word corruption, but it's illegal activity. This government is not legitimate. It is a criminal enterprise, and I think somebody
If you
posted
look at all the
something.
bribes coming in.
Somebody posted. Well, yeah, he's made about millions, billions of self enrichment. I mean, he's violated and he's pushing us to see how far are we going to let him do this. And I would ask any American that actually believes in this country to say, how far am I going to let him push me before we say this is enough? Every Republican has to be asking themselves that question. Every member of the military, every police officer, every single ICE agent has to be asking themselves that question.
If I want to kind of open up the phone lines here, if you have seen the letter, if you have read it, and I'd be curious, listeners, what your thoughts are. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. You can call. You'll talk to Patrick in our control room and see if we can't get you on the air to talk with us about your thoughts on this really shocking letter that Epstein wrote, apparently, allegedly, days before he took his own life. It's really, and now we've got multiple outlets that are taking a look at it now and reporting on this, which tells me that it's something new. That these batches of documents that are slowly starting to come out. But to your point there about people breaking the law, I mean, as they are slow walking all of this data out. Files out, rather. That is breaking the law. All of it was supposed to be out last Friday.
How many people at DOJ are involved in releasing this material? Hundreds, don't you think? Yeah. I mean, this
is where the Democrats or somebody, there needs to be a group of people that are documenting these crimes, because the Supreme Court gave him an out and said, you've officially got a get out of jail free card, presidential immunity. But you know who doesn't have that? Todd Blanche, right. Pam Bondi, right. All of those people underneath that are working to, break the law and not comply with the law, like slow walking, all of that jazz. Like, all of these folks should be identified and put on, like, hey, you are going to be prosecuted.
Hundreds of members of his administration.
We've got to take a break here. You're listening to AM 950 Radio, KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPTA 20, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. More of The Gailey Show after this very quick break.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. Over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
This season, bring the whole family to see Irving Berlin's White Christmas. This smash hit musical based on the classic film returns by popular demand to delight you at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. With loads of laughter and a stunning showcase of Irving Berlin songs, White Christmas is a celebration of the romance, friendship, and magic of the holidays. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Best seats available in January and through the closing date of February 7th.
Let Next Chapter Booksellers help you with your holiday shopping. Next Chapter Booksellers has the perfect gift ideas. Books make for easy, thoughtful gifts that are a breeze to wrap and ship. And if you're not sure what book to get, the friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at recommendations for any age and taste. Explore their wide selection of puzzles and games for interactive family fun. And if you're still stumped, then try a Next Chapter Booksellers gift card. That's Next Chapter Booksellers in St. Paul, your destination for easy-to-give gifts.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. We talk about the economy on here a lot because the gays are part of the economy and it affects us just as much as everybody else, even though if you listen to some Democrats, they think that that's not true. But there's some really conflicting information coming out today about the economy. There is this report. Interestingly, the AP News decided to go with the headline, "Resilient U.S. Consumers Drive Strongest Economic Expansion in 2 years." And their lead is that the U.S. economy grew at a surprisingly strong 4.3% annual rate in the third quarter, which they are saying is the most rapid expansion in 2 years, being driven by U.S. consumers who are continuing to spend in the face of ongoing inflation. And so this is also coming at a time where the consumer confidence surveys are saying that it's actually slumped to the lowest level since this past April, when Trump rolled out his, American Liberation Day. So there is this competing, Jimmy, don't look.
I have a neutral look on my face.
I'm curious though your thoughts on this, because you follow economic news a lot, and so we have this 4.3% third quarter numbers, and we've got another data points as well, but consumer confidence falling the most it has since April.
The behavior that was being tracked back in second quarter was that people were buying things to try to beat the tariffs. Remember when the administration could not decide for about 120 days what the heck it was doing? First it was this, then it was that, and then this country, and now that's up 5%. And it was the most amateurish bunch of foolishness you've ever seen. But during that time, a lot of consumers said, well, if you're going to buy a car, do it now. If you want to repair your home, do it now. If you want to get new furniture, do it now. To beat in fact, goods were being held in storage because they didn't know whether they're going to apply the tariff to them, and if so, how much of a tariff. Applying tariffs is actually complicated for everybody involved. So I think there was some pent-up demand, or not pent-up, but there was artificial demand to try to get ahead of the tariff issue. That's what I'm surprised no economist said that, because how else do you explain the fact that people are pessimistic and spending more money? That doesn't make any sense. But if they're doing it to avoid some future penalty that the president has imposed on them, then to me it does make sense.
Now, and to their credit, AP, news saying that they are, inflation is higher than it should be or has been lately. And I just want to sort of remind also, like, the unemployment numbers came in. Unemployment is the highest it's been for a while. And there's a little thing called healthcare those insurance premiums are about to go up for everybody on the Affordable Care Act starting in January because, oh, Congress didn't do what they said they were going to do. I'm sorry, the Republicans.
Yeah.
And even Fox News has a headline here: Congress flees town as healthcare premiums set to explode for millions of Americans in January. So I guess, I don't know what to do with this. Yes, third quarter, 4.3%. Okay, cool. Consumer confidence going down, inflation high, unemployment rate higher, healthcare and premiums about to explode. And also, it's the Christmas season. Americans Americans are materialistic. They want to spend to enjoy themselves for the holidays. Your point about the tariffs, have they fully hit in yet? And the stock market didn't really respond to this report. You would expect that if there was this huge number that made it seem like, oh my God, the economy is going great, that the stock market would have been happy. I mean, do I read that wrong?
I think the stock market, one of the things they love about this moron is that he embraces AI, which is anti-human. Let's be really clear about this. It is intended to replace what they say is mundane jobs. This is just going to make it easier to do easy writing that you don't have to hire somebody to do. But there's no one that's looked at this in any industry that doesn't understand that hundreds of thousands of people that currently do some sort of a job will be replaced with AI. So if you're Elon Musk, you have no soul.
I agree with you on that, but where are you going with this related to the story?
Then you would say, all right, we have a presidential administration that loves AI. So that's a plus for efficiency, right? We're going to put all these people out of work and our profit is going to soar. This is a president that hates the environment and intends to exploit it like nobody has had the nerve to do, who truly hates everything about nature except how you can make a profit from it. So if you're a pure money person and you don't care how you get to that, this president offers you the chance to do something that people with no souls like. Let's exploit the environment. Let's destroy all the animals. Let's destroy all the natural stuff and make a profit off of it. So there's promise, I think.
So why isn't the market responding to that? If you're saying the market is cold and calculating and just cares about profit, why isn't the stock market going up? And why are they responding sort of meh to this news of 4.3% quarter growth?
And I think I talked about this the other day. Because of the government shutdown, the numbers that came out from, I think it was labor, were suspect. In other words, the street, and the reason that the thing that didn't move is the futures markets particularly, said, we don't know if we trust these numbers. The inflation numbers, which show inflation being, not great, but not as bad as we thought.
It was 2.8.
They don't trust it because the department didn't have real data from all the places they get data. So they just said, nothing happened in those 6 weeks of the government shutdown. No prices went up. The real estate market, cost of real estate did not go up. And they did that with several other categories. And the people in the market are saying, we know that's not right. We don't know how not right that is. We don't know if that was self-serving. We don't know if it was sloppy and unprofessional, because this administration is both of those things. So they don't trust it. And the futures market, which should have gone up because of quote unquote lower inflation, didn't move. And that's because the market, I don't think, trusts that they're being told the truth by the government. We've always been able to trust economic news from the government. It was agnostic, right? It didn't matter whether it helped the president
from the U.S. Department of Commerce
or hurt the government. It didn't matter. They were going to tell you the truth. Now they're not telling us the truth. And now the financial people don't actually know what's going on in terms of hiring. They don't actually know what's going on with the cost of real estate. And there's no way to just artificially get that. The federal government has been a bellwether, and it is not a bellwether anymore. So it's not protecting your health. It's not telling you about the weather. It's not telling you the truth about anything. And so now we're starting to see the financial markets go, boy, we don't know what. So we're going to just
and what
sit
you mean
on
by
our
I got to get to a break here. What you mean by the weather is that they were firing hundreds of people from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Council. And even Texas admitted when there were all the floods, like we didn't get the information we usually get from the Federal Weather Service to help us prepare for this. So we are going to take a break here. We're going to talk about some education news as it relates to Christian nationalism curriculum, but also the LGBTQ community coming out of Oklahoma. So stay tuned, more after this break.
Minnesota. This is Tom Hartman, and you can catch me every weekday from 11 to 2 right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's smart radio for smart people.
Some versions of A Christmas Carol are hot toddies, sweet and cozy. Open Eye Theater's holiday tradition, Scrooge in Rouge, it's a Boilermaker, a raucous Victorian vaudeville-style musical that spikes your holiday with camp and chaos. Scrooge in Rouge is backed by audience demand for the third year in a row. Celebrate the holidays with Open Eye Theater, now through December 28th. Bring your friends, bring your festive spirit, and leave your figgy pudding at home. Christmas can be a drag in the best way. Tickets at openeyetheater.org.
The Park Tavern in St. Louis Park fits perfectly into your holiday schedule. The Park Tavern is open regular hours on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, giving you and your family the chance to unwind with great food and great entertainment. The Park Tavern is your relaxation destination all holiday week with family fun and the big games on. And the Park Tavern is open regular hours on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day as well. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, the holidays are better this year with the Park Tavern.
Hey, Chanhassen and Eden Prairie. It's Alex with Buzzcut Mowing. Winter's on its way. Why spend your morning shoveling snow when I can take care of it for you? I provide fast, thorough, and reliable snow removal. Your driveway and sidewalk stay clear, safe, and completely stress-free. Stay warm, skip the back-breaking work, and let me handle all the heavy lifting this season. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today to make winter easier, safer, and more enjoyable with Buzzcut Mowing.
Across this country, LGBTQ rights are under threat. This is a struggle that the LGBTQ community knows all too well. Since 1987, Outfront Minnesota has been fighting for LGBTQ rights and protections here at home, and this work is needed now more than ever. Hard-fought wins here in the state of Minnesota are at risk, from the ban on the harmful practice of conversion therapy that passed in 2023 to transgender protection secured in our State Human Rights Act in 1993, and even national recognition of our same-sex marriage protections that we secured in 2013 are at risk. Outfront Minnesota has helped Minnesota become a national leader in LGBTQ rights, and they will hold the line to make sure we don't lose what we've gained. But they need you. Now is the time to step up and support Outfront Minnesota and LGBTQ rights here in our state. Outfront Minnesota needs your financial support today to strengthen LGBTQ protections at home, at school, and at the state capitol. Learn more and make your gift at outfront.org/give. That's outfront.org/give. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 29, tonight clear with a low around 19, and Wednesday partly cloudy with a high near 35. AM 950 faces urgent threats from an administration that wants to silence independent progressive voices. Stand with us by becoming a sustaining member today to provide the stable foundation we need for this fight. Find more details at am950radio.com. That's am950radio.com. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20, Chicago's progressive talk where facts matter. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. It is 33 minutes after the hour, joined in studio by my executive producer, Jim Pounds, also streaming, live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. And if you like what you're seeing, please consider subscribing to our channel and leave us a comment about what you would like us to see covering in 2026. Obviously, the elections are going to be a big deal. Healthcare is going to be a big deal. Epstein files apparently are just going to be a huge deal throughout the entire year of 2026, the way these files are being distributed. But leave us if something you want us covering in your local neck of the woods, an issue that you haven't seen us covering, you'd like us to see more of. We are putting together that plan right now because it is our anniversary week. the first week of January. So leave us that comment and let us know what you'd like to see us covering. All right. Okay. Oklahoma. There's two stories educationally related out of Oklahoma this week. One is related to the Oklahoma Supreme Court issuing a ruling on public school education curriculum changes that the previous head of education in the state, Ryan Walters, sort of shoved through in 2024. And it was a Christian nationalist educational agenda. This is just, here's what he wanted and was forcing schools to do. K-12 lessons should focus on the Bible's influence on history, literature, music, arts, and culture. Said that every classroom had to have not only a copy of the Bible, like a literal copy of the Bible, but a copy of the 10 Commandments. He said that the 2020 election had to be considered false, that Trump won the 2020 election. There had to be a curriculum that COVID-19 was created in a Chinese laboratory. And that the curriculum also had to focus on the Bible and Christianity's influence on founding the country, aka the United States. This was the people were crunching the numbers. It was going to cost around $33 million to create these new textbooks for all the different grade levels and get them into the classrooms. Well, he left because there was the whole pornography thing during a board meeting. He got a job at some place that is, fighting woke teacher unions. So he quit his job. And the new head of education, Lindell Fields, said in October, okay, we're done. We're not going to do all of this. We're just going to stop. But there was a lawsuit from with 33 plaintiffs. These were children and teachers and faith leaders even filed a lawsuit, took it up to the state Supreme Court and said, look, how all of this happened, this was all wrong. Because apparently the court found that what Walters was giving to members and the public didn't end up being the curriculum standards that he shoved down schools and teachers and parents and kids' throats. So now they invalidated all of those standards. They reinstated the standards that were adopted in 2019. And interestingly, there was a statement from Rachel Laser, who is the president and CEO of Americans United. And in her statement, she said, these new social studies standards violated students and families' religious freedom by promoting one version of Christianity and advancing Christian nationalist disinformation. Not on our watch. Public schools are not Sunday schools. Excellent quote. Excellent quote there. So apparently, and I'm not even going to get into him because, he is freaking out on social media and, his whole legacy is being thrown out the window. And this is fantastic. So there's that story where, okay, you're like, okay, Supreme Court, you're for education standards and not as, the president of I literally just said it and I blanked on it. President and CEO of CEO Americans United. Then along comes the University of Oklahoma. Now, we talked about this story a couple weeks ago about how they put on leave a teacher's assistant who marked down, gave a failing grade to a psychology student who said that transgender people were demonic in a paper they turned in, a psychology student, and who also said that the trans people were harmful to kids. Well, now the University of Oklahoma has fired that teacher's assistant, completely removed them. Normally, under their rules, they're not supposed to comment publicly on hiring and dismissal and just generally HR practices. That's not what an institution of education normally does. And they're putting out statements on their social media. They're saying that, oh, well, we actually found out that this TA was doing all sorts of weird things in their grading. Okay, well then what are they? Did you tell the actual TA what they were? And the American Association of University Professors are like, nothing was given to this TA to substantiate that. So if you're going to be fired for something, shouldn't you be told, like, actually, here's the evidence of what it is that we're firing you for? But they didn't do that. And so now they're telling their psychology students, yeah, go ahead. Write that your future patients are demonic and a threat to children. Psychology students. Jim, your thoughts?
Well, Oklahoma is a bag of dirt, and I have a.
There are some great queer Oklahomans that live there.
I'm sure there are some
and
great.
progressives.
I wish you'd get out of there. It's a mess. It's a hopeless mess. I have a sister that I don't communicate with, and it lives in Oklahoma. So
okay,
I don't. The thing is, all of the policies coming from the right and from the religious people are anti-human. There's no other way you can. It's as if they can justify all of their terrible feelings about their own miserable lives by hurting someone else. Humans have done that for eons. Make somebody else fall down and get hurt, and you feel better about yourself. And in this case, they happen to use the Bible, but they've used all kinds of other things. You're the wrong religion, and you're the wrong whatever gender, and you're the wrong. You don't have enough money, or whatever. So it's all anti-human. And I support public education because it's supposed to be pro-human. And I would like to hear a lot less about people's religious opinions. I could care less. You're entitled to them. You bring them, as I've said before, you bring them out of your house, and now you've got a problem. Now you and I have a problem because your opinions about religion belong in your house. You have every right to that. And maybe even your place of worship as you're handling snakes or whatever it is you do. That's fine. But you can't do it in public. And anyone that brings their religion into the public place is wrong. Including I would say, including Muslim people who feel like they have to pray in a particular place.
Jim,
I don't think it
now
belongs
you're taking it
in the public sphere.
Into a completely different
Religion
area.
is private.
You're bringing up a whole conversation that
religion is private. That's all.
This is not what we were talking about.
Well, I'm saying I don't think you bring your religion into the public place. Now you're making it somebody else's issue.
There is a difference between accommodations and saying that psychology students can tell their patients that they're demonic and a threat to kids.
I think people can see that. If you can't, let's talk privately.
Justifying that malpractice under religious liberty.
I think it's easier.
Could you say that to somebody that has epilepsy? I
think it's
they did. Actually, they did for hundreds of years. They called people like me epileptics, that we were possessed and demonic. So, there's that.
Right.
There's a good history that, they're just continuing on.
Right.
Okay.
Religion is not a justification for hurting people.
Well, yeah.
Is it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe
some religions are all about that. But
They're
that's
all
not what
about it.
that's not what I. That's we're talking about a university that is supposed to set down educational standards, and you can't suddenly throw those medical standards out the window. And say, okay, well now, where does it? You're going to start calling people of color demonic? Are you going to start calling people with epilepsy demonic? Are you going to start saying that people who are on certain dementia treatments that they're demonic? Like, are you kidding me? Like, where does it end? Once you open that door, then medical trainees, psychology students, med students can just start calling all of their patients demonic.
Right.
If you're just going to say, yeah, this is now an appropriate standard in a undergraduate level paper to say, yes, you throw out, don't even cite, this paper didn't cite medical literature.
Right.
It was literally just citing the Bible.
So
if that is the standard now in the University of Oklahoma for your psychology students to be able to say, oh, I don't actually have to cite any literature. I can just sit there and write papers from a biblical perspective that actually doesn't talk about psychology. And I'm going to get a passing grade for that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, University
Careful.
of Oklahoma?
I wouldn't hire people from the University of Oklahoma right now. That's pretty clear.
Well, that's a blanket statement. There are
Well,
folks from University of Oklahoma that I'm like, come on up here, get over to Minnesota.
Yeah.
But
Right. Or
there's Oklahoma mixed bag right now. At least, thank you to the Supreme Court for getting rid of the Christian nationalism in their public schools. And the University of Oklahoma just joins a long line now of universities
Right.
who have been capitulating to the Trump administration, and either they agree with it because they're all going along with it, or they're just, feckless, one or the other. But there are a lot of well-resourced universities looking at you, Harvard, Northwestern, University of Pennsylvania, who are falling in line with a political Christian nationalist agenda and not providing education, science, fact.
Higher education has failed the American people. I'm sure there are exceptions.
There are a lot of presidents right now of like UPenn and Northwestern and Harvard and other ones that they should just be, they should resign. They should not be allowed to speak at conferences. They should not. I mean, it is when you look at what they're doing and how they're literally throwing students under the bus and discriminating against them and saying, yeah, I have to discriminate against you because I'm being extorted by the executive branch. But oh, by the way, I'm sitting on billions and billions and billions of dollars and in a fund, but I'm not going to use that money. I'm just going to let myself be extorted by the Trump administration. It's just the fecklessness of higher education right now is just really, really stunning.
Pretty bad.
So it's either, the leadership of University of Oklahoma thinks this is okie dokie and they're fine with it, or, they're caving in a situation where they don't need to be caving. Now, I don't know what their endowment is at the University of Oklahoma, but, there we go.
We can look it up.
Yes, we can look that up. But I want to get to a story. I want to end on an upbeat note.
Okay.
Because and we've got some time here. We'll start this story and then we'll carry it on over the break. Because I actually have a second really good story. I have two good stories to end this episode with, so we can at least go out on a high note. So we've gotten a lot of data about the 2025 electoral year. Now Bolt's magazine, which is my favorite magazine for following elections and elections data, I think they do absolutely fantastic work over there.
Mm-hmm.
They have found that this year, headline, Democrats flipped 21% of GOP held legislative seats. So of those seats that were available, that were contested this year in elections, Democrats flipped 21% of them across the country, in New Jersey, in Virginia, in Iowa, in Mississippi. We're going to continue and break down this excellent data that Boltz has shown us here, but that was a fantastic number and even stronger than the swing in 2017. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 20, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. More after the break. Mon beau sapin, roi des forêts.
Francois, you're decorating Christmas trees.
Regardez ces sapins de Noël décorés de macarons de chez Nicolette.
You can buy Christmas trees decorated with Nicolette's macarons. Are there any new holiday flavors?
Oui, à la menthe, chocolat chaud et Snickerdoodle.
Peppermint, hot chocolate, and do you mean Snickerdoodle?
Oui.
Oh, and every day for the holidays, Nicolette's will be at Dayton's Market downtown and at Southdale.
Joyeux Noël.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity in styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Hi, it's Beth from Big Hill Books in the lovely Bryn Mawr neighborhood at 405 Penn Avenue South in Minneapolis. This holiday season, shop our selection of gifts beyond the bookshelves. We're known for the best greeting cards, plus bookish t-shirts, mugs, and games and puzzles for all ages. We also carry items from local woman-owned businesses, scented candles, of forest and human personal care products, and well-rooted teas. There's something for everyone. Learn more at bighillbooks.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Shamblot from Shamblot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shamblot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. We are coming up on the top of the hour, and just to continue the love, some Christmas love, I just was handed in the control room, literally just now in the commercial break for folks in Minnesota, a pair of tickets, free tickets to Paul Metz's band Cats Under the Stars. They're going to cap off their 50th anniversary at the Parkway Theater. So this is a free pair of tickets for this Sunday. December 28th. The doors open at 6 p.m. The show starts at 7 p.m. First caller gets this free pair of tickets, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. The Cats will revisit their celebrated musical roots with two sets, kicking off with an acoustic blend of folks and blues, followed by an electric set performed by their 7-piece band, along with a roster of stellar special guests, including Sonny Earl, the Tilttown Titanettes, Tom Lieberman, and more surprises here is written down on this breaking news ticket that was handed me into the break. So this is going to be reminding folks why they are considered the first Twin Cities jam band before there was such a thing. 952-946-6205. Come on, folks, call in. Get this free pair of tickets for this. The show is this Sunday, December 28th. Doors open at 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. at the Parkway Theater in Minneapolis. 952-946-6205. I really want to give these away. It's Christmas, and I want to end on high notes here because we've been dealing with a lot of tough news. So 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Okay, the wrap up from Bolts Magazine about the election year this year. So Democrats gained 25 state Senate and House seats that were held by the GOP in 2025 out of 118 that were contested this year. This is stronger than in 2017, where they flipped only 20% of all GOP held legislative seats that election. And interestingly, in 2017, the Republicans did manage to flip a few of their own. Not in 2025. They lost 21% of the seats. They flipped nothing. Democrats did all of the flipping in 2021. And also, the Democrats gained the largest majority in the Virginia House since the 1980s, according to Bolt's magazine. They expanded control in the New Jersey Assembly. They broke supermajorities in state senates of Iowa and Mississippi. They flipped a state senate seat in deeply, deeply red Pennsylvania, an area of Pennsylvania. They got an upset in a Georgia district that had gone double digits for Trump just a year ago. And this is, there you go. There you go. And why Boltz is saying, we saw these same numbers in 2017 before the huge blue wave of 2018. Now they're saying these numbers are even better in 2025 going into 2026. So, hey, I will take it. Also, interestingly, what I love about these stories is then you get the pollsters that come out and they're like, nobody likes the Democratic Party. Everybody hates the Democratic Party. And all the polls, everyone hates the Democrats. And then you look at the actual election results and you're like, who's conducting these polls? What are they asking them in these polls? Because those two things, can those two things be true, that you absolutely hate a political party and yet they're winning everything? I don't think so. Anyway, one last bit of good news here, box office related. Jim, I know that you follow box office information. An out gay actor was the biggest grossing star of 2025. Jim, do you have any guesses of who it might be?
Jonathan Bennett.
Do you mean the gay rom-com star?
Yeah.
From Hallmark?
Or who am I thinking of? Who's the one that was in Jurassic Park and Wicked?
Jonathan Bailey.
Jonathan Bailey. I'm sorry.
Jonathan Bailey.
My apologies, Jonathan.
So in the Jurassic World Rebirth, that franchise got $850 million globally. The Wicked sequel got $450 million this year globally. Now, Variety's got to throw cold water over it and say, well, Bailey, it was, wasn't the star of those movies. And they were they were sequels and big, huge franchises. Right. And there were other big stars like Ariana Grande and Scarlett Johansson. But
it's probably never
happened. He is technically the highest grossing actor of 2025.
It's probably never happened before to a gay actor.
The first openly gay actor ever to earn that title. Also coming off of, he's having a great year. He is coming off of being named People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, the first time a gay man has ever been featured as People Magazine's Sexiest Man of the Year. So,
and the sequel to Wicked is out now, and I think it's doing okay. I don't know if it's doing quite as well as the first one, but so he's got another potential hit coming out this year, that just came out in December. So I don't know how much that means.
I was talking about Wicked.
Yeah, but wasn't that money, wasn't that the...
No, we're talking about, it was $850 million from Jurassic Park.
Right.
Jurassic World Rebirth, and $450 million thus far for Wicked. So that number could continue to go up.
Oh, I see.
By the end of the year.
I misunderstood. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Jonathan Bailey making some moves here. Also, I mean, besides, well, okay, so Marvel hasn't had an out actor in a prominent role in any of its movies. The DC universe has one. That film did not do great. But now here you've got Jonathan Bailey in a big action franchise. Will this open the door or will it not open the door? I guess time will tell. But congratulations to Jonathan Bailey. Patrick, did we give away that pair of tickets?
Yes, we did. Congratulations, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Congratulations, Bill. I don't know what holiday you celebrate, but happy holidays. And that is all for us today. Up next on WCPT 820 is Democracy Now! On AM 950, it is the Matt McNeil Show. After that is Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 p.m. Central, step into the unknown with Greg Buchan on Ghost Box Radio. And until this time tomorrow, Keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.